But before we finish up, let's talk about the question time scandal of the day and Labor's calling in the New South Wales Police all around Angus Taylor. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a story that we did mention on this program. I think we even spoke to the Minister when this was out and about, which was a story suggesting that the federal government was, pointing to the supposed hypocrisy that may have existed at Sydney City Council, declaring a climate emergency, yet spending $15 million on travel. Big number. Well, the documents, when you put them side by side, don't match up. Why? Because the 14.2 is misrepresented as 15 million by the Minister's office. However, the real number is about $4,000. Mark Butler went as hard as he could today.
Section 253 of the New South Wales Crimes Act creates a serious indictable offence for making a false document to influence the exercise of a public duty. I refer to his provision of a forged City of Sydney document to the Daily Telegraph in an attempt to influence the Lord Mayor of Sydney in the exercise of her public duty. Will the Minister assure the House that this forgery was not made by him or his office?
The Minister has the call. The Minister for...
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Yes.
All right, Bronwyn, what am I missing here? Because, pretty obviously, the claim is not true. The Minister and all of this, let's refer it to police. I think we all know that's going to go nowhere, just as it was when Linda Burney, of course, said that, I think even Angus Taylor at the time was the Minister, for robo-debt, that all of this was crook. They've been coming at him for a while. What do you think about this?
Well, when you realise that the last election was on climate change and they lost, and then they tried to vote for a climate change emergency in the Parliament, I guess they're looking for anything that's going to be a bit of a segue to get them away from what they were looking pretty bad. And I thought, when I looked at the figure of 15 million, I thought, oh, God, that makes my helicopter pretty cheap.
Pay that.
Even the $4,000.
That was money spent. That was money spent in Victoria too. Wasn't it?
Even the $4,000. Yeah, but it's interesting. But okay, so Nicholas, look, I always think we're getting a bit silly when we're calling in the police to question time stories here. I think that the police have got much better things to do than to investigate that. I would say it the other way around if it was the Libs asking it of the Labor Party. But it feels like someone, and let's be generous here, someone has fed information into the system, that being someone's informed someone in the Minister's office. They've gone, how good's this? Let's get Clover, off to the paper. The paper understandably trusts what a Minister's office sends to you, because why wouldn't they? It feels like we're going to be reading about this in a 28-page expose in The Guardian, and every page in between will beg you for donations, but I'm not entirely sure that there's going to be barbecues stopped around the nation here. But what am I missing, and why am I letting him off too easily?
Look, I think there'll be a 28-page expose in the Daily Telegraph, because they love beating up on Labor, but there's one thing they love even more than that. It's when the Daily Telly themselves are at the centre of the story, and they are here. So I reckon it'll be the Daily Telly who's running the full wraparound special edition tomorrow. I mean, look, there's a bit of theatre and all this. Is this going to end up in a serious criminal prosecution? I doubt it. But look, there's a bit of theatre on the government side on this today. I mean, there's no doubt that Angus Taylor was stonewalling because they just want to get out of the parliamentary sitting week, and they knew if they could get through question time today, Parliament's not sitting tomorrow, and they can try and tidy things up over the next couple of days. But I can't see that Parliament sitting again without Angus Taylor. If he wants to do it or not, he'll have the Prime Minister all over him, and he'll have to clarify the record here because, of course, City of Sydney have now come out with the metadata proving that their numbers are right, disproving the conspiracy theory which Angus Taylor was at first trying to peddle, that the City of Sydney had gone and changed their numbers. And, of course, now when the opposition's saying, well, Angus Taylor released the metadata on your documents and he's refusing to do that, you know that he's deeply, deeply in the wrong. So it's still got a bit of a way to go.
Don't need to get involved. Do we agree that police is too much on this?
Absolutely.
What do you think, Nicholas? It is too much to call in the cops, right? Or do you think that if there is a crime, all crime must be investigated?
Well, I definitely think we need to know how Angus Taylor came to be in possession of that document. And at the moment, he's not giving that. And if he refuses to come clean on that, then, yes, there'll need to be an investigation, possibly by the police. I mean, he needs to just come clean. We all agree on that, don't we?
Maybe do you reckon the government should spend $1.5 million like Victorians did to eventually prove that nothing illegal had happened when it comes to the red shirts? Anyway, keep going.
You know, Nicholas, if you just gave up your socialism, you really would be a nation.
Come on, I'm out of time here, guys. Gary,